I've never entertained suitors, but I really wanted to be an old maid, so I could take care of my future nephews and nieces. But in June 1984, I met Gabby, who was an engineer who renovated the theaters of my uncle. We became friends until he became my first boyfriend. He proposed to me more than 12 times, but I always refused because for me, marriage is a little bit suicide. But on June 7, 1987, I finally say I do to this man. I was the first among the 6 siblings to get married. Looking back after 23 years, I think that was one of the best decisions I have ever made, to accept his proposal. He is very honest, kind, and very accommodating to my family. Though I don't like my course that much, because I really wanted to be an engineer, God instead gave me an engineer husband. He is both a civil and sanitary engineer. That's why we have a construction business. God must have prepared me for this. I think it was not a coincidence when they enrolled me for accountancy. I truly appreciate that I am an accountant by profession. My husband and I complement each other. He is more on the technical side, and I am on the financial side. But I also help in the construction and design. I truly enjoy my work. Thanks God for planning a better life for me and my family. For sure, God is also planning yours. I think in this church, it's only Brother Harry and Sister Cheng who know us both when we were still single. Most of you have known us that we are in a construction business and selling high-end houses. But when Gabriel and I started the family, both of us were employees. But while I am employed, I'm doing little business after office hours. I've been cooking banana crackers, caramelized popcorn, and Krupik chicharon, so I could deliver to schools and theater canteens. I've also been selling pants, t-shirts, jewelries, and cucumbers. When Gabriel resigned and started a construction business on his own, he only accepts supervision fee. He don't accept straight contract because construction business is quite difficult. You gave your price when you still don't know your cost. Construction price is based only on estimate. If at the time you estimate the price is low, but upon implementation the price is high, you might end up losing money. We also had our share of trials from business partners. In 1994, Gab was betrayed by his partner in construction of one of the malls here. It hurts us so much because Gab was working there day and night. We have so many sleepless nights and tears together. I've never forgot that my first prayer request in this church is to remove that pain in our hearts. Our longtime friend and accountant, knowing that we were so depressed, and had told me that his Muslim client is glad if somebody would fool at him because he knows and believes that God will return double or in many folds what he had lost. True to his words, a year after that, it was the beginning of a construction business for us. We were introduced by friends to their friends and to their other friends. There was a time we handled almost 20 foremen at the same time. We were not only betrayed once, but several times. In our weekly Bible study at Brother Casing's place, I even told Pastor Michael Strip, when he discussed the 10 Commandments, that among the 10, the hardest to follow is to love thy enemy. Because I really hate my enemy. Especially those who malign and betrayed us, though we don't fight back and just leave it to the Lord. But Pastor Michael told me, if you want to obey, to follow him, you have to obey his teachings. But I told him in Proverbs 10 verse 18 in Good News Bible says, A man who hides his hatred is a liar. At least, Pastor, I'm not a liar. But you know what I have noticed? For all these trials and betrayals, God is pouring blessings after blessings. As what Joel Austin says, the greater the struggle, the greater the reward. If we will just leave it to Him, He will make up for all the unfair things that happens in our lives. Today, with whatever I have right now, I can honestly say, I also want to thank those people who mistreated us, taking advantage of us, and betrayed us. Because of that, God was forced to give us even more. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. Our God truly reigns. Last October 1996, we transferred to a new 4-story office building. This commercial lot was my gift from the Lord when I joined Word for the World in 1989. It's not an inheritance, it was both. But 6 months after we have paid, we have our money back. We were not informed by the owners that the lot was affected by the road widening, the reason why they are selling this property. When I learned about it, I was so sad and prayed to the Lord for guidance, either to sell the property at cost or make business there and recover whatever losses we had. But the following day, God made a reply. He let the previous owner brought the assessment of the lot to us, and we bought it at $345,000, but the government offered to pay us $500,000. Instead of losing, naloko sana kami, God have given us the 150 square meters lot for free, plus the $150,000 cash. Not only did we gain financially, we also gain friends from the government sector. They are the same people helping us when we started government projects in 1994. See how God works, hitting 2 birds with 1 stone. Some of them are here listening my testimony. Late that year of 1996, we already knew what projects to start in February and March 1997. My husband Gabby told me not to get projects, government projects, because the 4 line-up projects are more than enough to undertake. I told him, sa di lang good, kuha lang ko gagmay-gagmay. Comes February 1997, we already mobilized for the construction of a hotel in F. Cabahog Street, but the owner was afraid when he learned that another hotel will be constructed on that area, the Sarosa International Hotel. He canceled his project and just paid us for all the costs incurred. The other hotel project, which were supposed to start by March, was also canceled because one of their partners from Davao sent his architect and they were the one building the hotel. The other 60-door apartment was also canceled by the owners. I really don't understand, but I'm praying this many times. Lord, I really don't know what are our sins, that you canceled all these 4 projects. Lord, forgive us for all our mistakes and please take care of our needs, Lord. It was in July 1997 that broke the news that there was an Asian economic crisis. The dollar exchange rate from 26 a peso rose to 46 to 48 a peso. Construction materials went up to as high as 40 to 50%. That was the time I understand God's plan, and we thank Him for the cancellation of all these projects. Maybe if we undertake that projects, natumba with me, because the projects were big, and we were not financially stable at the time. We were a striving contractor, so to speak. I told Gabby, this coming summer 1998, we will go for a vacation because nobody will construct, because crisis was getting worse. But to our surprise, the year 1998, where there was an Asian and economic crisis, was one of our best years. We have a construction projects in Manila, in Cagayan de Oro, Dumaguete, and Cebu. At the time we estimate the project, the construction materials were high. The price of cement was 130, but it went down to as low as 49 pesos in Manila because nobody was building for expansion. I do remember one collector have told my staff, "Kamura man nagsigig order?" I also told Gabby that don't believe that you are that good. That's why we were busy. There must be someone bringing those people to us because they were all new clients, introduced or have seen our work. This part of my testimony would have been delivered 10 years ago during the dedication of this building. But I don't have the guts to talk before a crowd. From then on, I've been praying to the Lord that someday I could share to a lot of people the goodness He has done in my life. In 1999, when I thanked Him for all the blessings and all the opportunities, I told Him to guide me and give me the wisdom on what He wants me to do. Since I always do Bible cuttings, I close my eyes and open my Bible. It was the first page of the book of 1 Chronicles. When I read it, it was preparation for building of the temple. When I asked again for another message for the same prayer, to my surprise, I never know there is a second book of Chronicles. When I read, it was the construction of the temple begins. After a week, when I asked him the same prayer, it was in 1 Chronicles 22, verse 15. You have many workmen, there are men to work in the stone quarries, and there are masons and carpenters, as well as a large number of craftsmen of every sort who can work with gold, silver, bronze, and iron. Now begin the work, and may the Lord be with you. This time, I feel God was really talking to me because we were the only contractor in our church. With the same prayers and